at you with another deal of the week. For December, this one is actually a very unique one. It's a wholesaler I know I have a good relationship with. They have a subject to deal, which is a big buzzword, but essentially you're going to take over somebody else's mortgage and get a much lower interest rate. So they have a 3.5% mortgage on the property at the moment. And I'll show you some of those numbers here, but let's just take a quick look at what we're dealing with. This one's out in Front Royal, single family house. It does, certainly looks like the roof is a little bit dated there. That might need some upgrading. I do have that prepared to be updated if necessary. Just going through some of the other pictures here. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but, not insanely horrible or ugly. As we work our way through, they do have oil heat and AC unit as well. Kitchen actually looks like it's in pretty good shape. Decent appliances there. Lots of storage, cabinets, whole 9 yards. So that's looking good. The other thing I'd probably recommend doing is updating some of the painting and some of the cosmetic updates here. So probably really just some flooring, some carpet, some paint, and that'll spruce this thing up, make it look pretty nice. The current owner will get out of there before closing, and they do have a little shed in the back. I wanted to share with you quick on some of their mortgage numbers. You would be taking this over, essentially. So big win there. It's a 3.5% interest rate. You got your principal and interest at about $800 a month, and then all your escrows are totaling about $400 a month. So you roll that all up, you're paying about $1,203 per month for this property, which is really, really good with that nice low interest rate. If we do look at it, here's the property from when it sold last back in 2021. So they actually sold for $182 back in the day. Got a 3-bedroom, got a 1-bath. It's about 850 square feet. So decent little size there. Do compare that with some of the other recent sales in the area. So some are all, about the same size, about the same bedrooms, bathrooms. You're getting anywhere from about $200K up to about $300K, just depending on the condition there. So the ones that weren't in as good a shape, this one did get $185. Taking a look at it, definitely really dated, not very nice, needs lots of updates, whole 9 yards. So relatively comparable to this one. And then we can see one that's a little bit more fixed up, a little nicer. Some updated cabinetry there. Appliances not great. Decent flooring. Reasonable bathroom. Same 3 bedrooms. And a little nicer yard going on back there. So, upside definitely there. Probably can get this thing sold for, somewhere around that 275-ish is what I would peg it at, just because it's a little bit smaller than some of these others. In terms of the rental side, I did find a few rents nearby. This 3-bedroom, 1-bath got $1,600, and the 2-bedroom, 1-bath got $1,500. And then if you get a little bit bigger property, that's a townhouse, semi-detached house, they actually got $2,100 in better condition. So just looking at those quickly. Single family house, same 3-bedroom, 1-bath, $1,600. Not the prettiest thing, not super updated, but decent shape there. And then for the other one here, they got $1,500. Only a 2-bedroom, so a thing to note there. Also doesn't have central air, has a mini split system. But a little bit dated on the kitchen, appliances, but everything's looking like it's in reasonably decent shape. One thing to note is the standalone tub there, not a full shower, so definitely not as desirable on that front. So for my numbers, I used $1,600 on the rental side of things. I did do everything I could to get everything to match perfectly, but about $1,203 as your total cost, total payment. So that matches your $1,203 there. A little bit of change, not quite perfect, but pretty close. So you factor all that in. What's really nice here, you're cash flowing somewhere in the ballpark of about $250 up to about $400 per month. Again, that low interest rate really makes the numbers check out a lot nicer. In terms of the costs on this one, so they are ultimately looking $20K for the seller to be able to move out and move on with their life. And then there's an assignment fee from the wholesaler. So that all adds up to about $15,000. or another 15 grand for the wholesale fee. That adds up to about 35,000, which is what I got roughly here. About 33. And then I have a rehab estimate of about 20 grand, mostly to get a new roof, and then fix up some paint and some flooring, maybe some cosmetic updates. So I think you're probably in it all in for about $53,000. Maybe you shave a little bit off that rehab. Maybe the roof lasts a little bit longer, and you can just do about 10 grand to clean it up a little bit. But cash on cash return looking pretty solid, somewhere in about the 5 to almost 9% range, based on that 53K input. And then looking kind of down the line, future wealth should make you about 750 grand 30 years down the line. Definitely outpacing the stock market here for about 28 years or so. So really solid opportunity, really strong numbers on this one. And something that's really nice is they bought that property in 2021. So you're a decent bit into the amortization schedule already. You're about 4 years into the schedule. So you're getting a decent amount of principal each month. You're sitting at about, $300, $350 out of an $800 payment. So numbers are already looking better in your favor there. But yeah, overall, really good deal. Really interested. Almost kind of want to buy it myself, to be honest. But let me know what you think.